was saying. To prove odd or even, both cases, we start with negative x. So what you want to remember, you always start with negative x. If it gives you back the original, straight away just say it's even. If it gives you negative of the original, you would say it's odd. And if it gives you neither, then it's obviously neither. And the case I was using was f of x, so question 1, f of x equals x cubed. All right, step 1, always sub in negative x. All right, we know negative cubed, negative, in fact, to any, I'll give you a negative. Now, question, is this the original? Is it the original? Looks close to the original, but it isn't the original, so I know straight away, not even. Then we've got to take out a negative of the whole thing, so you got to factorize a negative. Factorize it. Negative of the original. Does this look like negative of the original? Negative x cubed. Negative of the original. Yes, it is. The negative f of x. Therefore, because this is a proof, you have to actually show it like that. Yeah, so f of negative x equals negative f of x, therefore odd. I'll pause there. Anyone have any questions? Used? No? Click on f of x equals x to the power of 4 plus x squared. How do you ready for this?
Yep.
What's the first step? Always, regardless of what the question's asking. There's the question. I'm saying regardless, what's your very first f of? What are you trying to find f of?
X?
Negative x.
Negative x, okay.
Right? Gives you even. Negative neither, you just say it's neither. Sounds good?
Yep.
Step 1, what's step 1?
Substitute.
Negative x. If I substitute negative x, I think you guys should know this, but what's a negative to the power of 4? What's going to happen? Positive. Again, negative squared.
Positive.
You good with that, Patty?
Yep.
Then obviously,
So it's even.
it's the original, so you have to write equals f of x, because you have to essentially prove it. You're going to say it's even or odd, you got to write it like that. So that's why I've written f of negative x equals f of x. Therefore, what you just said, just good work. Yet or still? Question 3. I'll take it up a notch. Then, Amy, you can do this one, and if it's all good from everyone, then I think I'll get you guys doing the ones. K cubed plus 3k is 2. Oops, made it into a k. Let's make this into a k. All right, 3k, f of k equals k cubed plus 3k minus 2. All right, Amy, f of what?
Negative k.
Negative k equals?
Negative k cubed minus 3k plus 2.
Ooh, why did you say plus 2? That doesn't have a k, so that doesn't change. That just stays as minus 2.
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
Only the K's are changing. Yep. And then, is that the original? Obviously not. So you now know it's not even. What must you do if it's not even? You've got to go for odd now or neither. So for odd, you've got to factorize the negatives out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to look like this. Is that negative of the original?
Yes. No.
Yes.
So it's
So
neither.
yeah. So it's not this and it's not this. Therefore, all right. Anyone have any questions? Or you guys try some yourselves now? And okay. Let's open up this. All right, write them down. These 6. Short. I just changed the letters just to show you guys it doesn't actually matter. The math stays the same. To show whether the following functions are odd, even, or neither. I'll write the thing you're trying to prove. F of negative x, if it's the original, it's even. F of negative x, if it's negative, it's odd, otherwise so your steps work like this. Step 1, negative x. 2, original, question mark. If yes, even. If not, you go to step 3. Factorize negative 1 out. If negative of the original, then yes, odd. And if not, neither. All right, give it a shot. Let me know if you have any issues. Come on, guys, one by one to your answers. That one looks like it's a subject folder. It's your first step. The subject, so you 8 the other. In this case, if you go first thing you're going to do, so the B, then how do I get rid of the M? Exactly the same, it's just because it's numbers, you can simplify. Same math. You feel like it's easy for you to do it, make up the number, except the letter. Then, whatever you just did, or A the subject, that's the same as the first thing you would do. Remove the A. B squared. Get rid of the root. Okay. All good. All right. Let's go with Vinesh. Let's start with the first one, question 1.
Alrighty.
One. F of x equals x cubed take away x. What was the conclusion you've got?
That it's odd.
Right, let's see. So you would have subbed in negative x. Then you wrote negative x cubed plus x. That's obviously not the original, correct?
Yep.
It's not even,
And
but that doesn't mean it's odd. Just because it's not even, I think I hear this a lot. Just because it's not even odd.
oh, sorry, you cut off. You're cutting out. So.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep. I was saying if it's not even, it could be odd or neither. So don't always think if it's not even, something's odd. There's two other odds. We factorize the negative out and you ended
Yep.
up with this. Is that the original?
Yes.
So then that's negative f of x, therefore odd. Good work. You got that right.
Yay.
Anyone have
Alright.
any questions? No. G of y. Let's go for g of y. Are we? Nav.
I got neither even nor odd.
I think you're right. Do you feel like you can kind of see it almost?
Not yet, so I had to do a lot of working out.
Yeah, that's fine. So look, what I meant by can you see it, you can kind of see if I'm going to sub in a negative, the plus one's not going to change. Because this plus one's not going to change, I know straight away it can't be even, and I know if I take out a negative out of here now, I can see that's not going to be the same as the original either, because this never changed in the first place. But all of a sudden, when I've got to take out a negative, it will change.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll come. But yeah, you're right. Neither. Work. Number 3. I think maybe Aiden. Yep. Have you done number 3 yet, Aiden?
Is it odd?
Odd. So, yeah. The h of negative k gives you negative k cubed on. Negative to the power of 4 is still positive. Negative to the power of 2 is still positive. That's not the original, but by the time you take out a negative, like that, just from the top, that is negative of the original, which actually is odd. Excellent. Wow, you guys are killing it. 18. Wow. Well done. Dashenko, number 4. I'm going to wait for 4, 5, and 6.
I didn't finish it yet.
All right, I'll leave it with you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that means everybody else. 4, 5, and 6. We'll just 5 minutes.
For 4,
Yes.
I got neither.
Yeah, I think so. Again. So, do you see a pattern with question 4 or similarity to question 4 and question 2? So yeah, it's got that +1. But those ones there, if there's no letters, you know there's going to be problems. Let's have a look. F of x, especially if there's no letters and these are odd powered. So yeah, f of negative x equals negative x minus 1 on negative x plus 1. When you took out a negative, so you got to this step, is that right?
Yeah.
What was your next line? You took out a negative and then?
X plus 1 over negative x plus 1.
Absolutely. Just for everybody else, make sure you don't take out a negative from both the top and the bottom. That's not allowed. It's either the top or the other. You don't pick both. So done, and that doesn't become the original. Therefore, either it's not negative f of x. Good work, and not the original. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, number 5. Hey, guess at what number 5 is going to be? Odd, even, or neither? By just looking at it? Anyone? Nav? Just observation? What do you reckon it is?
It's the last one, sir. It's question 6.
No, question 5.
I haven't done. I only got up to question 3.
Observation.
Oh.
By just looking at it. What do you
Um,
reckon? Odd, even, or neither? Think about it. The fact that you're going to sub in negative, and then these are odds.
would it be none, neither?
Okay, what about number 6? If I sub in a negative into there.
I can't tell, to be honest.
Missing is that if I sub in a negative into here, into the fact that it's odd, isn't this automatically going to become a negative, but exactly the same number? Isn't it still going to be x to the 7, but just a negative?
Yeah.
What about if I sub it into here? What's going to happen? Isn't it going to be exactly the same again, but a plus now?
Yeah.
And then this one's going to become a minus.
Yeah.
So you know it's definitely not even, but
Yeah.
because they've all changed signs, well, factorize a negative, aren't you going to get negative and then bracket literally everything again back to the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you actually see that?
Yeah. I didn't
So
realize that.
isn't it going to just become this? So if what you've just learned from that is if they're all going to be odd powered, well, it's always going to be an odd. What about this? What happens when you're going to put a negative in the power of 4? Power of 8? Power of 10? What's going to happen? Are they going to change?
No.
Oh, so guess what's going to happen here? Exactly the same, which is
Even.
even. So through observation, you should be able to see that.
Yeah.
All right. Questions for us? Guys, go with those two. Let's pick some more odds and evens. All right. Question. Oh, I think some more. Hold on. You guys try C and D. Try C, try D. Show that it's odd, even. That makes sense. All right. Ravinesh, let's do C together.
Yes, sir.
Step one is f of
X equals f of negative x equals x squared plus 2x.
good work. And then straight away you can tell that's not the original.
Yeah.
And you factorize a negative out.
Negative
Which looks
x.
really weird, but there it is. Is that the original? Again, looks close. The fact that you got a negative is not
Yeah.
correct. So it's negative f of x,
Yeah,
which
negative.
is odd. Sorry, what? Excuse myself. It's not negative f of x.
It's neither.
It's neither, yeah.
Oh,
You should know that. I just said it's not the original. Negative of the original. All right, all good. Amy, let's go D.
Yeah,
F of negative x equals,
negative x cubed plus 2x.
and then factorize your negative. Therefore,
Odd.
again, you guys can see, like, look, this is a mixture. What I'm trying to show you, not just the math. You have to do the math, obviously, to get full marks. But it's good to see, like, that's a even powered. That's an odd. Even and an odd, you know it's not going to work out. But an odd and an odd, very likely will work out. And odd with a number won't work out, but an even with a number will work out. Because by the time you sub in a negative, it's just going to get you back to the original anyways. So it's good to keep that stuff in mind. Nevertheless, you should be able to see it that way. All right. That's that bit done. Just want to make sure I haven't missed anything before we go back and fill in more questions. So Val, pretty happy with everything. I think it's just time to practice. Practice, practice, practice. I did send you guys this book over the holidays. And 2 regions. Okay. I'm pretty happy. I think it's done. It's just time for you guys to start practicing all this so that you guys can understand how to do domain and range. And function substitutions and odds and evens. Let me just make sure. Yep. All right. Good night. Domain and range. Let's do this. First one. Let's start with Vinesh. What kind of graph is it? What kind of-
It is a parabola.
Yep. And what's happened to that parabola? It's just a happy parabola that has been shifted.
To the left.
Attached.
Wait.
Left.
Oh,
Look like this.
God.
Close. Otherwise.
Crap.
So what's
Oh,
it
yeah.
mean? It's not right.
Wait.
It's shifted
Wait.
to
Up?
yeah, up. Move
That's
up.
bad. Okay.
What's your domain?
So my X would be Oreo X.
Oh, real X, correct? Your range.
Y is equal to no. Y is bigger than 5. Or bigger than or equal to 5.
That's good. Yes, absolutely right. Y is bigger than or equal to 5. Next one. Let's try Patty. What kind of graph is this one? All right, Patty. What if I did this? What kind of graph is it now? Still nothing. Now? Patty, are you there? Make sure I'm not talking to myself. Patty? No.
Yep, sorry, I
Yes.
disconnected.
Do you know what kind of graph this is? Hey? No?
No, I got no clue.
It's a sideways parabola. So if I'm squaring it to get to y squared, instead of it being an x squared, which is just a normal parabola, if the y is being squared, it's a sideways parabola.
Okay.
So if I solve for x, 3 plus y squared, that means it's a sideways parabola, move to the right 3. So it'll look like this. That would be this curve, the red curve. The black curve, y equals square root x take away 3, is just the top bit. Which you kind of can know it's right. Look, if I was to ask you what would be your domain without looking at the graph, or without thinking of the graph, what would be your domain here? What restrictions would you have on x? Can x be anything? And that's because of the square root, right? The fact that you've got a square root there, you know if the inside was a negative, it just won't work. So you know your domain needs to be bigger than or equal to 3. And then again, same thing with your range. If you were to look at that, you know your square root's never going to be negative. What's the smallest value that you will ever have with a square root?
2.
0, you mean? And then, yeah, greater than or equal to 0. Y must be greater. And then you can see that obviously through the graph. It's very easy to see it graphically. X is greater than or equal to 3, y is greater than or equal to 0. All right. So I'll also do another one. I just want to show you one more that I'm sure we've got here. It says find the domain and range. So again, Paddy, think about it. The range, I think you know. What's your range for this? Straight away.
0.
Say it properly. Y greater than or equal to 0.
Yep.
Domain. Now, again, domain, you got to watch out for. Where is this 0? So that's what you're going to solve for. 4x minus 8 equals 0. 4x equals 8. X is 2. So that means you now know x must be bigger than or equal to 2. Do you understand the logic of that?
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
All right. And then obviously x is 2 there. And then it's a sideways parabola, but because you only have the positive square root, you're only choosing the top half. You're not choosing the bottom half as well. Okay. All right. Well, since we're here, I'll let you guys just try domain and range without knowing much about the graph. Let's see if you guys can start to understand what your minimums and maximums are by just looking at it. I'll give you guys a minute or two, have a think about it, and then I'll pick one of you to try it. Yeah, so if you see if it is. All right, let's see. Let's start with nav. Domain.
I couldn't determine. I've kind of forgotten how to. Sam.
But again, think about the square root. Inside your square root can it ever be a negative.
No.
You straight away know that of course you can have is 0, but essentially that's always going to be greater than or equal to 0. Right?
Yep.
So play around with that. See what you get. Play around with that, just that expression. The bit inside has to, the lowest it can be is 0, then eventually it's going to be greater than or equal to 0, and then maybe you might just get it out. Let's see, we'll check on the others while you play around with that a bit. Amy, any ideas?
For domain,
Yeah?
x is greater than or equal to 2.
Okay, so you're saying x is greater than or equal to 2, which is, let's test it out. So you're saying 3 would work.
Yeah.
3 squared is 9. 4 take away 9 is negative
No, wait.
5.
Less than.
Less than or equal to 2 now.
Yeah.
So you're saying now negative 3 can work. Right? Because all less than or equal to 2. So then negative 9 is negative 5. That was a good experiment. I like it. You're very close, but at least you're getting the idea of it. Let's try one more time. Sashenka, any ideas with that? Did you get a different answer?
No, I got the same answer.
Same? Yeah. All right, here we go. 4 minus x squared. What you girls missed was when you do solve this and you square root, you actually have 2 answers. Plus minus 2 equals x. So be careful when you square root, it's not just positive 2, it's plus minus 2. Now that you realize that, think about what you just did with 3. I said it can't be 3. So what do you think you're give it one more shot. It can't be 3. You've got -2 and +2. Any ideas of how to write that as an inequality? No. All good. So we said 3 doesn't work and -3 doesn't work, but it's got to be -2 and 2. The answer is -2 less than x less than 2. It's all the numbers between -2 and 2. It's all the numbers between -2 and 2. Do we get girls? Yes?
Yeah.
There is a little problem. What's the problem though? The fact that this actually has x in the denominator, we know that comes from hyperbolas, right? And if we've got x's in the denominator, we know they're not allowed to be 0. So you actually have, because if x squared is 4, 4 take away 4 is 0, 1 over 0 is impossible. So the answer is actually all the numbers between -2 and 2, not including 2 or 2. So that's a tricky one, but there you go. Completely allowed. I've seen it in almost every exam. So be aware of that. Range, y must be greater than or equal to 0. The bottom's always positive. The top is always positive. That's always going to be greater than or equal to 0. Delta. All right, let's do some more. See how much easier domain and range was when we're doing graphically. But now when you've got to try to do it algebraically, it gets a little bit harder, but it's okay. Because if you can understand them graphically, you'll be doing really well with them algebraically because you'll know what's happening. All right, these ones, relations. Again, it's good to know what kind of function they are. Otherwise, you just go look at it and be like, all right, what are the restrictions of x's and y? Give you guys some time. Put in all the numbers. maybe the formula later on, maybe we've learned how to do mx plus b, because I think to get your gradient, mean, okay, yeah. All right. Let's see, you guys. 2x squared plus 1. All right, who wants to give this a shot? Domain, range. Doesn't matter if it's wrong. Let's just hear it. Anyone? Come on. First one.
For A,
Yes.
I got domain is all real x,
Mhm.
and range is y is greater than or equal to 1.
You are correct. It's essentially a parabola that's been shifted up 1. So let y is greater than or equal to 1. Perfect. Domain. Again, it can be you. Anyone?
I got for domain all real x,
Yes.
and for range y is greater than -3.
Greater than. I think so. So you've got your asymptote, which now is down here, and it cuts through at -2. So it's a exponential that's shifted down -3, all real x, and greater than -3. Fantastic. Not equal to. Then work. Yes. Now, as you guys can see, I'm starting to avoid drawing it because you want to know this mentally. So you want to know that that's an exponential shifted down 3. 1, because it'll help you with, because sometimes you just want to be able to do domain and range quickly without drawing it every single time. So that's good. C, that's a circle. Most people get these ones right. What's the answer? Someone, hopefully someone else, if possible. Yes, anyone?
Could I take a
Yeah.
shot at it?
Yes,
All right.
please.
D negative. All right. D would be uh then -9 and but bigger than bigger than or equal to bigger than or equal to 9.
Smaller than, smaller than,
Oh,
smaller than,
Oh yeah.
smaller than, big,
There you
small,
go.
-9 and 9. Or, like I
Yep.
said, if you guys feel more comfortable, just use your interval notation. But I'm just doing it this way because this is, to me, this is the better way. I don't think the interval notation is meant to be the right way, but whatever. -9, less than or equal to
Yeah.
y, less than or equal to 9 as well. True?
Yeah, that's true.
Done.
Yep.
Good work. Anyone have any questions for us? We'll do the next few. Try D, E, and F now. Again, I'll give There should be a form. I don't think it's in the calculator, but okay. I think the first one's easy. Someone quickly, domain and range.
Domain is all real x,
Yep.
and
Range.
then range is y is greater than or equal to 4.
Ooh, no, it's just x plus 4. That's just a straight line.
Oh,
So if it's just a straight line, shift it up
Why?
4, it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
It's still y.
Or yeah, okay.
Or real y. Or real x. That's fine. Domain and range for the next one.
Domain x is not equal, cannot equal to -2.
And see, if you guys remember the one we did just before, it wasn't like this, but when we solved for this, we found x is plus minus 2, and then when I wrote what I wrote, so it's between -2 and 2 because of the boundaries, and see, you guys can probably see that's a circle or a semicircle, but anyways, we don't want to get into that too much. That's why I rubbed out the equal to. Same reason here, it can't be 0 in the bottom. That's why I rubbed it out and went, okay, it's everything between -2 and 2. So similar concepts for you to remember. The bottom can't be 0. That's essentially what you. Yes, x cannot equal to -2, and range.
X cannot equal to -1.
Y. Yep. Y cannot equal to
Y,
-1.
Sorry, yep.
Hyperbola, shifted to the left 2, and then shift the whole thing down -1. Excellent work. Very, very good. And this one, domain and range for this, 1 minus x squared. Square root of 1 minus x squared. Anybody? Looks like you guys are afraid of the square root ones. What is that? Just a circle. So this guy is a semicircle. So if you know it's a semicircle, if it's a circle, the domain is going to be -1 to 1. But again, you should be able to see that just from here because you'll know you can't square root negative numbers. They can't be 2 or 3 or 4 because 1 take away 3 is going to give you a negative number. So it's all the numbers between -1 and 1. Your range, you know it's a surd So y must be greater than or equal to 0. Domain. For G, what's your domain for G? Amy, can I get x equals to 5 for my domain? Oh, for a value, can I have x as 5?
No.
Can I have x as 4?
No.
Can I have x as 3.9?
Yes.
Yes. So therefore, x can be less than
4.
4, but not equal to 4, because then you're going to have the problem with the denominator.
Yeah.
And your y must be greater than 0. It's not equal to 0, again, because the bottom will never be 0. If the bottom's never 0 and the top's always 1, well, 1 over anything will never be 0. So it's just going to be greater than 0. True?
Yeah.
Anyways, that comes from a hyperbola as well, right? Hyperbola, you guys know that with a hyperbola, it can't equal to 0. Y is greater than 0. Last one. Algebraically. What was that? Maybe we'll make it into a squared. F of x is a parabola when x is less than 0. F of x is this when its x is greater than or equal to 0. Domain, range. Oh, I'm about to overkill it, I think, with you guys just for tonight. Now we'll leave this one for next week. 21st October. Start here. All right. I'll leave it at that. I think I'm about to overkill it and rush it, and I don't want to. Okay, leave it. Like I said, I've already sent this booklet. I do recommend you guys studying it. Next week, I'll make a note of it here. So next week's exam. Next week's quiz will include functions. So pretty much I'll just take the questions out from this booklet that we're working on, which is right here. This booklet here, I'll just be taking them out from there. So next week's quiz will include functions as well as if you've got any questions, as always,